Rife was a media star. He was in the newspaper all the time. The media loved him. He was working with the top researchers in the world. He was doing revolutionary work, and the media really picked this up. And then suddenly, after the 30s, nothing ever again. You never heard from Rife again. I mean, why is that? What happened?
We have a photograph which shows a banquet thrown in Rife's honor to celebrate the end of all disease. It was even announced in the media. And then, years later, all these people that were at this banquet in honor of Rife denied even knowing him.
They definitely could take a leaf out of Roy Rife's book and do an awful lot of good to this world for sickness and disease. It's a funny thing. People don't think much of you in your own country. If one of these machines was to be reworked and thoroughly analyzed by the abilities that he possessed at that time, we could start the proposition going again, which would again demonstrate that you could cure cancer. And all crazy notions of usurping the rights of the American Medical Association to the contrary, notwithstanding.
As far back as 1920, I conceived the idea and the possibility of when the causative agent of malignancy, so-called cancer, would be discovered and found and proven that it would be caused by a microorganism. Of course, reception that I received that far back from the medical profession and scientists was nil. But I kept at the work, and I succeeded in eventually isolating a virus.
By all accounts, those who knew Royal Raymond Rife considered him to be a scientific genius. His greatest accomplishment was the development of a cure for cancer and for most infectious diseases in a span of 18 years' work in San Diego through the 1920s and 30s. Rife invented a series of super microscopes which allowed him to see living microbes as small as a virus, an ability considered impossible even today. Using these highly advanced optical instruments, Rife was able to determine by direct observation the presence of a microorganism in cancer tumors. This he called the BX virus. Rife then went on to create another unique innovation, one that worked in conjunction with his microscopes, the beam ray instrument, a device that could destroy any microorganism with electrical pulses tuned to a specific frequency, a way of fighting the infectious agents of disease without drugs. Given the monopolistic nature of the developing medical establishment in America at that time, the presentation of this drugless technique for treating a multitude of diseases ensured the demise of Rife's work. 70 years later, people are trying to piece together what happened, an attempt to recreate Rife's lost technology. The 4th Annual International Rife Conference.
The conference is excellent. I mean, we have people here from Japan, New Zealand, obviously Canada, England, South Africa. It's growing, and there are things being done. From my understanding, there's a bill before Congress, the United States Congress, that would allow, if passed, would allow licensed practitioners to use this technology as they saw fit. And I hope we're moving that way.
Originally, I read the Cancer Cure That Worked by Barry Lyons, and because of my medical background, I had the opportunity to go through all the research that was bibliographed from the 1930s and 1940s. And it's all there. It's incredible. It's all there. It's plain as day, and nobody knows about it. It's hidden. It's buried. Let's bring it out to the open.
One of the speakers at the conference A Canadian researcher, Jason Ringus, has been looking into this story for several years.
Well, when we first learned of the Rife story, we quickly found that there was no consensus in some of the details of the story. Every time you hear this story, it's different. So what we wanted to do is acquire as much accurate information as we could possibly get. And over the years, we've accumulated letters, photographs, lab notes, newspaper articles, and we've tried to the best of our ability to bring some sort of order and consensus out of all this information.